The IPCC has issued a warning stating that we have a limited window of time to effectively mitigate global warming and keep it within safe limits. In order to accomplish this, it's imperative that we make substantial reductions in greenhouse gas emissions, with particular attention to the industrial sector as a significant contributor. What can we do to ensure that companies reduce CO2 emissions? How does the role of automation fit in this puzzle? Well, let's take a look at how automation can contribute to reduce CO2 emissions today. Welcome to a special sustainability series of our OMRON Talks Series. I'm Andrea Ford and I'm joined today by Patricia Torres, Industry Marketing Manager at OMRON Europe and also a sustainability expert in industrial automation sector. Thanks for being here, Patricia.
It's my pleasure, Andrea.
So, all right, now that I have you here, let's start with the basic. What can you tell us about the CO2 emission reduction so far?
Sure, Andrea. As you just mentioned, in 2018, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, confirmed that in order to limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, the world needs to cut by half the CO2 emissions by around 2030 and reach net zero CO2 emissions by mid century, meaning the 2050. But not only CO2 emissions, the IPCC has also warned that we need deeper reductions in non CO2 emissions all across the economy to achieve this limit. But according to the latest Sustainable Development Report published by Cambridge last year, for the second year in a row, the world is no longer making any progress on the Sustainable Development Goals. The report also found that with the current national the commitments, the greenhouse emissions are set to increase, not even decrease, but almost 14% over the current decade.
So, things are not looking good, right?
Not really. And for that reason, the reduction of greenhouse emissions in manufacturing industry is at the top of their priorities list.
But then, what are the first steps that manufacturing industry can take to reduce their greenhouse emissions?
The key point here is adopting sustainable practices. One of that is precisely automation because it helps minimizing our environmental impact and create a more sustainable future. Automation makes processes more efficient, for example, by optimizing energy and resource consumption, which obviously results in lower emissions and cost savings. You would have also noticed nowadays how the consumers are increasingly inclined to choose products that are more sustainably sourced or more sustainably produced and that can be disposed in a more sustainable way. That also is driving manufacturers to reduce the emissions not only at their manufacturing sites but also across the value chain.
And also, I imagine that many consumers like us are concerned about the steps taken by companies to contribute to a sustainable future, right?
Yes,
In that case, can you provide some specific examples of how automation is currently reducing CO2 emissions in the factories?
absolutely. One example is the use of advanced sensors and machine learning algorithms to optimize energy consumption when the product is made or to reduce waste when the product is packaged. How? Well, we use real time monitoring, data collection, and analysis that allow us to adjust automatically and more precisely many variables, for example, in the sealing process, reducing the energy that is consumed and also avoiding errors that will lead to scrap. Also, other examples are related to the fact that manufacturers will need to adjust their production lines to handle more sustainable packaging materials or to implement more efficient palletizing systems, etc. All these challenges are things that automation can help with.
And how about the cost of implementing automation? Is it affordable for all the businesses? And what about, for instance, the small to medium enterprises?
Well, it is certainly affordable depending on the individual business needs. That means that we need to ask a couple of questions. First, to what extent would a company can invest in automation? Is it one process they would like to automate, specific sections of it, or a specific task, or the whole of it? Here, it's also important to remind everyone that automation can lead to long term cost savings, not only by reducing energy consumption and waste, but also in operational costs that could improve their bottom line. Another thing to consider as well is that there are government incentives and financing options that are also available to support the transition to sustainable practices.
Hmm. You mentioned about the long-term cost saving. I would like to, in that case, delve deeper into the future of automation and sustainability.
Yes, I believe, and there are many instances in the market where we can witness increased adoption of automation because not only the consumers, but also businesses seek to reduce their environmental impact. Technological advancements will enable us to automate more processes and make them more efficient. We'll also see a much greater collaboration between businesses and governments to create policies that incentivize sustainability.
Yeah, well, that's definitely something to look forward to. All right. So I would like you to highlight a major takeaway for our listeners on how automation can contribute to CO2 emissions reduction.
Okay. I'd like to emphasize that automation alone is not a cure all. It's just one tool among many for sustainability. To make a real difference, we need a holistic approach that includes renewable energy, circular economy practices, sustainable supply chain management, etc. Let me give you an example. At OMRON, we're fully committed to reduce our own carbon footprint and promoting sustainability in our operations. For instance, we have set a goal to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050 and are taking concrete steps to reach that target. For instance, we have implemented energy saving measures such as LED lighting and solar panels in our own factories and offices. We are also collaborating with our suppliers to reduce their emissions and investing in technologies and products that help our customers minimize their carbon footprint. Overall, we're taking a holistic approach to sustainability through our value chain, a value chain that we are part of as well.
Great, Patricia. It has been a great summary of considering a holistic approach to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But, well, before we wrap up, do you have any more examples to share on how Omron is supporting other companies by providing sustainable solutions?
Sure, let me give you an example of a San Martino based company. Cleca is very well known for its sweets, mix, and savory dishes. They chose Omron and its new IoT data analysis services to optimize the efficiency of the ready made broth line that was originally insufficient to meet the current demand. The Omron's iBelt philosophy is basically about having a holistic approach to managing the line in the same way as a conductor might lead an orchestra. Together with ClickCare, we co-created digital transformation practices, a sustainable production and energy management together, and also we achieved an improvement in productivity by 8%.
Wow, that's a great example on how it not only improved their sustainable practices, but also improved efficiency. Well, unfortunately, I'm so sorry, but that is for this episode. I would really want to thank you, Patricia, for your valuable insights today.
Thank you for having me, Andrea.
And for the rest, thanks for tuning in and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode where you can learn top sustainability tips and solutions to make this world better with industrial automation.